Know that Trump and Epstein were friends during this period. This is really the first time that it's actually been reported that Trump invited Epstein to his wedding.
For years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate.
The White House pushes back on Trump's mention in Epstein documents amidst growing pressure for transparency. The White House recently found itself on the defensive, pushing back against reports that President Donald Trump was informed in May that his name appeared among hundreds of individuals mentioned in Justice Department documents related to the late convicted financier and paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Welcome viewers to my channel. Please subscribe, like my video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. These reports, initially broken by the Wall Street Journal, suggested that then Attorney General Pam Bondi delivered this information to President Trump during a routine briefing. Importantly, the Journal's report explicitly clarified that simply appearing in these documents was not an indication of any wrongdoing by Trump, a crucial point the White House has consistently emphasized. The Trump administration has been under persistent and mounting pressure to disclose more comprehensive information about Epstein. Before their purported falling out in 2004, Trump and Epstein had been friendly, a relationship that has drawn considerable scrutiny. During his campaign for the presidency last year, Trump had even promised to release such files concerning the well-connected sex offender, a pledge that has since fueled public expectation. However, his supporters have expressed growing frustration with the administration's perceived slow and inadequate handling of the issue. This frustration was particularly acute regarding the much-rumored client list of Epstein, a list that the Justice Department and FBI, in a memo earlier this month, unequivocally stated does not exist. Epstein's death and ongoing legal battles. Jeffrey Epstein's death in a New York prison cell in 2019, ruled a suicide, occurred while he awaited trial on serious sex trafficking charges. This followed an earlier conviction for soliciting prostitution from a minor, a case that had already brought him significant notoriety. His death, however, has been the subject of numerous conspiracy theories, which the Justice Department has sought to quash. In a separate but related development, a U.S. judge in Florida denied the Justice Department's bid to unseal court files on Epstein that pertain to his prosecution in that state. This judicial decision further complicated efforts to bring more information to light. Yet, later on the same day, a subcommittee of the U.S. House of Representatives took a significant step, voting to subpoena the Justice Department for its extensive files related to Epstein. This legal order, if signed by the committee chairman, would compel the release of these crucial documents. The Wall Street Journal's report further elaborated on Bondi's briefing to Trump in May, stating that the files contained hearsay about numerous individuals, including Trump himself. This detail directly contradicted an earlier account given by the former president earlier this month. When a reporter specifically asked him if Bondi had told him his name appeared in the files, Trump had emphatically responded, no. Additionally, the Wall Street Journal reported that Bondi also informed the president that the Epstein records included sensitive child pornography and victim information, which she reportedly advised should not be publicly disclosed due to its highly sensitive and harmful nature. It is crucial to reiterate that being named in these documents does not constitute evidence of any criminal activity, nor has Trump ever been formally accused of wrongdoing in connection with the Epstein case. The story, while later corroborated by other U.S. media outlets, has not been independently verified by the BBC, highlighting the need for careful discernment of information. Official reactions and political ramifications. Official reactions to the reports have been swift and varied. Stephen Chung, a spokesman for Trump, vehemently dismissed the report as nothing more than a continuation of the fake news stories concocted by the Democrats and the liberal media, just like the Obama Russiagate scandal, which President Trump was right about. Attorney General Bondi, for her part, simply stated nothing in the files warranted further investigation or prosecution. FBI Director Kash Patel echoed a similar sentiment, asserting, "The criminal leakers and fake news media tries tirelessly to undermine President Trump with smears and lies, and this story is no different." However, an unnamed White House official, speaking to Reuters news agency, offered a subtly different perspective, stating that they were not denying that Trump's name appears in the documents. This official pointed to Epstein files previously disclosed months earlier by the Justice Department, which had indeed included Trump's name. These earlier files, which were distributed to conservative influencers in February, even contained the phone numbers of some of Trump's family members, including his daughter, raising questions about the scope of the information already in the public domain. It has been revealed that Trump had previously directed Bondi to seek the release of all grand jury materials related to Epstein. This directive prompted the Justice Department to formally ask courts in Florida and New York to unseal files related to cases in both jurisdictions. However, Judge Robin Rosenberg, on Wednesday, ruled that releasing papers from Epstein's Florida case would constitute a violation of state guidelines governing grand jury secrecy, a significant legal hurdle to full disclosure. The transcripts in question specifically stem from Florida's original investigation into Epstein in 2006, an investigation that ultimately led to him being charged with soliciting a minor for prostitution. Judge Rosenberg also declined to transfer the issue to New York, where two other judges are independently deciding whether to unseal transcripts related to Epstein's 2019 sex trafficking probe. That particular request is still pending, keeping the door open for future disclosures in New York. Renewed focus on Ghislaine Maxwell and congressional subpoenas. These latest developments coincide with a renewed public and legal interest in Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's convicted co-conspirator. Maxwell is currently serving a 20-year prison sentence for her role in helping Epstein abuse young girls. Her attorney confirmed to the BBC that a senior Justice Department official is planning to meet with the former British socialite to discuss her knowledge of the case, suggesting a potential for new information to emerge from her testimony. Beyond their subpoena for the Justice Department files, Republicans on the House Oversight Committee earlier sent a separate legal summons for Maxwell to appear before the body remotely from prison on August 11th. Her attorney, David Oscar Marcus, informed the BBC that if she chooses to testify, rather than exercising her constitutional right to remain silent, she would testify truthfully, as she always has said she would. He added, as for the congressional subpoena, Ms. Maxwell is taking this one step at a time. She looks forward to her meeting with the Department of Justice, and that discussion will help inform how she proceeds. However, House Speaker Mike Johnson has publicly warned that Maxwell cannot be trusted to provide accurate testimony. The Louisiana Republican stated, this is a person who's been sentenced to many years in prison for terrible, unspeakable conspiratorial acts and acts against innocent young people, casting doubt on her potential credibility as a witness. Earlier this month, Attorney General Bondi had stated that the U.S. Justice Department had uncovered no incriminating client list on Epstein, a statement that directly addressed a key point of public speculation. She also reiterated the official stance that Epstein did indeed take his own life in a New York jail in 2019, seeking to dispel the persistent conspiracy theories surrounding his death. Interestingly, Bondi had previously hinted at making significant disclosures in the case, even suggesting she had a lot of names and a lot of flight logs, a position that her more recent statements appear to contradict. This perceived reversal prompted considerable fury from some of Trump's most ardent supporters, with some even calling for her resignation. Democrats, seizing on this apparent Republican infighting, have been quick to accuse the Trump administration of orchestrating a cover-up. In a contentious move on Tuesday, Speaker Johnson reportedly closed down congressional voting for the summer break a day early, an action interpreted by some as an attempt to stall legislative efforts aimed at forcing the release of documents related to Epstein. Despite this, a notable moment of bipartisanship occurred when Republican rebels within a House Oversight Subcommittee voted on Wednesday afternoon to compel the Justice Department to release the files. 3 Republicans, Nancy Mace, Scott Perry, and Brian Jack, joined 5 Democrats in voting for the subpoena, with only 2 Republicans voting against it. However, the final issuance of this legal summons still requires the signature of James Comer, the Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee, leaving the ultimate decision in his hands.